This video is brought to you by Dr. Kristen R. Bromley's Guitar Method Book Series and Online Music Academy.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kristen Bromley. Welcome to my online academy. I'm delighted to be here helping you with playing the guitar. In this video, I'm going to go over how to play the E chord and the A chord. So we're going to be adding these to our repertoire of chords that we know that we've been learning in this lesson series. And of course, in this video, you're going to have some chances to practice these chords right along with me and the band as we jam on some songs and exercises. This video does accompany Lesson 4 from my Chords and Harmony Books 1 and 2 method book. So if you have that book, you're going to want to turn to pages 24 and 25. That's where the songs and exercises that we'll be playing are going to be found on, and also there's some written out information. You can see these chord diagrams. Okay, so let's jump right in here with the E chord. I have up here on the board and there on page 24 sort of the most common way, maybe the best way to finger this one. And as I've explained when we've learned chords previously, sometimes it helps to find where your index finger goes first, plant that one, find where your middle and ring fingers go, find where your pinky goes if we're using that one, and then discover what strings are being played open and which ones are being muted or not played at all. So with the E chord, we have our index finger at that first fret of the third string, and then the middle finger over at the second fret of the fifth string, and then the ring finger goes over at the second fret of the fourth string. And we're playing all the other strings open. So you can just strum all 6 strings. You can just play that one, kind of get comfortable strumming that one. You can even strum it with a familiar strumming pattern, such as the down, down, up, up, down strumming pattern that we're going to be using to play our songs and exercises. And we have done this strumming pattern before. So you can just sort of practice that chord, get kind of comfortable playing that one. Just strumming it like that. Do that as much as you need to. So that's the E chord. Now, in learning and working on this E chord, it may be helpful to note the difference between the E minor chord that we've played in previous videos that were part of this lesson series and the new chord that we're learning today, this E major chord. So if we were to pull off our index finger from that first fret of the third string and just have our middle and ring fingers on that second fret of the fourth and fifth strings, then we get E minor instead of E major. So we got the E chord and then we got the E minor when we pull that index finger off. And some of you may have been also fingering E minor with index and middle. But with this E chord like this, it makes a lot of sense to finger E minor with middle and ring. So you could go back and forth just a little bit between E major and E minor. And then as a reminder, if this was supposed to be an E minor chord instead of an E major chord, then our chord symbol would have a lowercase m or a minus sign that would be right after that letter E. When we just see the letter E, it's the E major chord. If we saw that E and then a lowercase m, we would have the E minor. We're going to jam together one of the songs that we're going to play. We'll use the E minor chord actually instead of the E major. The rest of them will use the E major chord. Okay, so there's E major. Let's go ahead and take a look at the A major chord. Now, A major can be fingered in multiple ways. I've seen it where just a finger bars across the 3 strings that have a finger on them. I've also seen people stick an index, middle, and ring, or middle, ring, and pinky. Those are ways that it's done. What I have up here on the board is the way that I believe is the best way to finger the A chord. Sort of facilitates changing between this chord and other chords that it's commonly played with. So with the A chord, the way I have up here on the board, and the way that I think is the best way to learn it, the way that works the best for the hands, most of the time, is to go ahead and stick our index finger on the third string at the second fret, and then we're going to stick our middle finger at the second fret of the fourth string, and then we're going to stick our ring finger at the second fret of the second string, and then we don't play the low 6th string, but we play the open 5th and open top string. So we're just going to strum the top 5 strings and we have that A chord. So you can go ahead and just strum that one a little bit, all down strums. You can get into the up strum if you want, or use that strumming pattern I have up here on the board. Down, down, up, up, down. And just get comfortable going between strumming that A chord just like that. Once you've done that, then it's a really great idea to just work on going back and forth between E and A. So you can practice going back and forth between E and A. When you're going back and forth between E and A, fingering it the way I have up here on the board, we're going to slide our index finger back and forth between the first fret and the second fret of the third string. And knowing that can help. So we slide that index finger and then we add our middle and ring. When we go back, we pull our middle and ring, slide the index finger over and add that middle and ring. So we just go back and forth. Locking that in is how we switch, and once you get it going, you can go faster and faster. Now in this lesson, when we're doing the jam along, we're also going to be playing the D chord some. So on number 5, we're going to use E minor instead of E major, so that'll be kind of cool. But there is also going to be some occurrences with the D chord as we play through the songs and exercises that we're going to jam together on. So D and A and E are played together a lot. A and D are played together a lot. So you may want to practice just going back and forth, especially between A and D. So when going back and forth between A and D, you can leave your index finger down, middle and ring are there, and then the ring finger slides over to go to D, and I add my middle finger in, and we slide back. You slide over and go, and you just sort of work that. Just work it. Once you get kind of comfortable, you can of course practice with the strumming pattern. Just get kind of comfortable doing that. Of course, the D chord, we only play the top 4 strings. If you need help with E minor or the D chord, you can check out the previous lessons in the book, or also the previous videos that have been part of this lesson series where I go over those chords. So if you need some more help with those, you can check those out that way. But we've played them previously, so I'm not really going to go over them again here. But we are going to jam together, so it's time for us to jam together. We're going to be playing song number 1, and then we're going to skip over song number 2. It's going to come out and be part of the next video, actually, that goes with lesson 4. But we're going to go over and play on the next page 3, 4, and 5. And we're going to use the same strumming pattern for each one of these songs and exercises. We're going to use down, down, up, down, 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 up, down. Depending on the song or exercise, we may be using a more even 8th note variety of that strumming pattern where we just keep everything the same between the down strums and up strums, keeping those rhythmic values the same. But if we're going to swing it, as you'll recall, then we're going to delay our up strums down, down, up, down, 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 up, down. So just a little bit of familiarity there. We've done a lot with this strumming pattern, and it's good to use a strumming pattern that's familiar as we work on some new chords. Each one of these songs or exercises in the jam along will happen twice. It'll happen first at a slower tempo, and then it'll happen again at a faster tempo. You can practice along with each one as much as you'd like to. Take advantage of it. As I've mentioned in previous lessons, one of the best things to do is actually just isolate one technique at a time. So work on just strumming. Mute those strings and practice the strumming pattern right along with me and the band. And then you could go and just work on the chords. Just work on fingering those chords, not working on your right hand. Then you might try putting the two together, at least with some sort of simplified strumming pattern, and then with the actual strumming pattern, you go ahead and add that in. And for the ones that are singing, you can sing all by itself, not doing any of the things with the guitar, and then add in the singing and the fingering and the chords, or the singing and the strumming, and then try putting all 3 together. That's an excellent way to work on getting this down. One other tip is that it really helps as you're switching chords to try and switch as soon as you play that down strum. So you're going to go down, down, up, down, switch chords. Switch chords right there. Down, down, up, down, switch. Don't wait until the next down strum to try and switch chords. You want to think about switching chords right after you play that last down strum. So there's a couple tips. It's going to be super fun. Let's go ahead and jam together. Okay, I hope this is super fun and super helpful for you. Now in the next video that's going to come out, which goes with lesson 4 from the book, we're going to continue to work on the E and A chords, but we're going to work them in 3/4 time instead of 4/4 time. So we're going to work them with another strumming pattern, one that works for 3/4 times. So it's going to be great. Hope you're having fun with this. Hope you're having fun playing the guitar. Take care, and we'll see you in more of these videos. Thanks for watching this video. If you found it helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And be sure to check out more great content. You can find more information about me and my products at KristenBromley.com. Take care.